see some heartbreaking cases on paternity court. Get ready for some tearjerkers, folks. We've got a young woman named Nikki Moore who's been searching her whole life for the answer to the big question. Who's her daddy? Sounds like a rough childhood for poor Nikki.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
You claim that you've lived your entire life asking the question, who is my dad?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say that during your childhood, your mother, Ms. Nelson, told you she had no idea.
Yes.
After years of heartache, you've located one potential father whom you've asked to be tested by the court today.
Yes.
Nikki tells the judge that she grew up seeing her friends talk about their dads, while she was left wondering why her mom couldn't or wouldn't tell her who hers was. And on top of that, Nikki had to take on a lot of responsibility, helping to raise her siblings instead of just being a kid herself.
You're
But that's
here
not right
for
because
moral support.
I have told her that that was the last ditch effort because I have told her that I had 3 others tested and we had a swab test done. And Greg Wright was the last ditch effort because I was saving her because I did not want her.
So it's not the last hope, but it is the last ditch effort.
That's the last one. That's the last one that I have.
Michelle, Nikki's mom, admits that she also grew up without a father, so she can understand how tough it's been for her daughter. But she claims she didn't keep the identity of Nikki's dad a secret on purpose. She just didn't know for sure who it was. Apparently, Michelle was a bit of a wild child back in the day, and there were a few potential fathers in the mix.
First, I want to understand more about your childhood because you're saying that your entire life it was told to you by your mother that she just had no idea who your father was.
Well, Your Honor, during my childhood growing up, it was rough. You know, we've changed. We've never had a stable place, you know. I had changed schools like 5 to 6 different times.
Finally, Michelle gave Nikki the name of one last possible dad, a fella named Greg Wright. Nikki was determined to track him down, even dropping out of school to do it. And when she did find Greg, he seemed pretty excited about the prospect of being her father, even though he was told years ago that he couldn't have kids.
More than a sister to
Ms.
them.
Moore,
That's the only time.
It's your contention that life without a father proved to be extremely difficult for you.
Yes.
You
I grew
moved
up without
around.
a father and I did fine.
Ms. Nelson, you're saying that you also grew up without
I
a
grew
father.
up not knowing my parents. I vaguely, at 8 years old, knew my mom, just vaguely. And I don't know who my father is. Yes, it has been hard, but I learned to deal with it.
But of course, the answers Nikki wants can only be found in one place, the envelope that Judge Lake is about to receive. The DNA test results are in, and it's time for this decades-long mystery to finally be solved.
Mr. Wright is not your biological father.
I'm sorry. I gave you all. That's the last one I have. There has to be more. Is it?
We've got a family feud going on here between Miss Smith and Miss Backus, and it all centers around one man, Mr. Wooten. Apparently, Miss Backus claims Mr. Wooten is her dad, but Miss Smith and the rest of the Wooten clan say he's not. And get this, Mr. Wooten could be on the hook for over $92,000 in child support for a kid that might not even be his.
Ms. Smith, you and your father, Mr. Wooten, are suing to prove Ms. Backus is not his biological daughter. You say your dad owes more than $92,000 in back child support for a child who isn't his and is on the verge of losing everything because his income is being garnished by 50% each month.
Miss Smith says her dad, Mr. Wooten, got tricked by Miss Backus's mom way back when. Apparently, they only dated for 4 months. But then Miss Backus's mom said she was pregnant. And get this, when Miss Backus's mom wanted to get back together later on, Mr. Wooten says she told him the second kid wasn't his either.
That they began to garnish half of his wages. So up until the point that they started garnishing his wages, it was going into arrears, drawing interest, and now is over $92,606.06.
If that's the case, then he should have showed up when I showed up and when they took blood from me just to have the test. He should have showed up for the test and we wouldn't be here today.
Now, Miss Backus is telling a different story. She says her and Mr. Wooten were together for a whole year, not just 4 months, and she's got a picture to prove it. A family photo with her, Mr. Wooten, and Miss Smith all together.
And I ain't never stopped loving my father, and I ain't never stopped loving my sister, even if they don't claim me. But they gonna learn today. They gonna learn today.
Your Honor, my father never received any paperwork requesting his presence to have a DNA test done. He was not requested to come to court to prove that he was not her father.
My father knows I'm his child.
And it gets even more complicated when Miss Backus pulls out her birth certificate. Turns out, Mr. Wooten's name is handwritten on there, which Miss Backus says is because he wasn't there when she was born. But Miss Smith is calling foul, saying her mom probably just wrote it in because she knew Mr. Wooten was the dad.
Your mother, when I met your mother 3 weeks into knowing her, she wanted to know why.
She told me y'all was together a whole year, and then I was born a year later.
Alondra, please.
Man, Daddy, I can't. I'm not even feeling nothing that y'all saying right now. That's why I brought y'all here, and we finna find out the truth. Cause you and Cece will apologize to me and my mother today.
I do not owe you an apology.
Yeah, you are. You gonna see one.
No,
you gonna see one.
But the real kicker is when Miss Backus starts talking about how she's been there for Mr. Wooten, helping him out with medical bills and stuff. She's even calling him Daddy and saying she's his keeper. Ooh, that's got a sting for Miss Smith, who's been trying to keep Mr. Wooten away from Miss Backus this whole time.
One way or another, whether she actually was my father's child, because Miss Backus' mother has a long history with our family of being extremely deceitful, lying constantly.
My mom can be messy at times because she is real dramatic, but I know she know who
Okay, Miss Backus.
I'm tired of the rumors. Her kid found me on Facebook a couple years ago.
And just when you think things couldn't get any more heated, Miss Smith drops a bomb. She says she remembers seeing all kinds of random men coming in and out of her house when her dad was at work, and she's convinced her mom was cheating on Mr. Wooten. Miss Backus tries to defend her mom, but you can tell she's starting to get a little flustered.
This is a Facebook post.
Yes.
That's a picture at my granny's funeral.
And it says, gotta love your siblings, laugh out loud. I keep my father and brother on point, and I am my sister's keeper.
My grandmother made peace with me before she passed away. She told me about the rumors. She told me that she do not like my mother at all. Not only did my granny say that.
By this point, the judge has clearly had enough of all the back and forth. She's ready to get to the bottom of this paternity mystery once and for all. The DNA test results are in, and the judge is about to reveal whether Mr. Wooten is Miss Backus's dad or not.
Mr. Wooten Jr., you are not her father. I know this was not the answer you were expecting.
No, it wasn't, but I had to do it. I had to do it.
Yes, you did.
I was tired of the rumors. I was tired of being treated. So now I know why I got treated like I am, and I'm good. I wanna apologize to the Wooten Pryor Clayton family.
This paternity court case was truly one of the saddest we've seen. Tamisha Brogdon is a young mother who is convinced that her deceased ex-boyfriend, Tyrell Jones, is the father of her 1-year-old daughter, Kwamirah. She's in court to prove it and get Tyrell's family to step up and support them.
Ms. Brogdon, you are in court to prove to Ms. Jones and her daughter that her deceased son, Tyrell Jones, fathered your 1-year-old daughter, Kwamirah. You say once the DNA proves your case, they need to step up for your baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Sugden, you say without a doubt that your brother did not father Ms. Brogdon's daughter. You say the stress of her accusations.
But Tyrell's sister, Jada Sutton, is having none of it. She believes there's no way Tyrell could be the father, because Tamisha had been sleeping around with 2 of Jada's brothers around the same time. Yikes, talk about a messy situation.
Ms. Sugden, you say that there's no possible way your brother is this child's father.
I don't think that's my brother's baby. I don't.
Why?
Tamisha, first of all, slept with 2 of my brothers. So that's what left me like, I can't trust anything she says, honestly. I mean,
She slept with
2 of my brothers.
2 of them.
2 of my brothers.
And that's true, Ms. Brogdon?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're in court saying that just Tyrell is your daughter's father.
Yes.
Tamisha tries to explain that she and Tyrell had a long-term relationship, but things went sour towards the end when he started cheating and staying out late. In a moment of anger, she slept with Tyrell's brother, Paul, but she swears up and down that Tyrell is Kwamirah's dad.
Tyrell lied and said he was at the police district. I went to the police district to check to see if he was there. He wasn't there. I went to his grandmother's house where he said he was there. He was not there. And I waited for him. I stayed there. I was drinking. I got mad, and me and the brother had sex. I had sex with Paul in, I say, March. I got pregnant in June.
Jada, on the other hand, is convinced that either Tyrell or Paul could be the father, and she's not happy about it. The stress of the situation has taken a toll on her family, and she just wants to move on and find Kwamirah's real dad.
Tore our family apart. She had my brothers fighting out there. We're close. She had my brothers fighting. They never fought ever. They never
Ms.
fought
Jones,
ever.
You say you're very upset because...
No, how am I supposed to know that that's really Tyrell's daughter?
If she's not Tyrell, she's Paul did. So bottom line, she's your granddaughter saying she's
Ain't no bottom line. Ain't no bottom
she's
line.
still part of your family. Bottom line.
What you mean bottom line?
Things get even more heated when Terrell's other sister, Sierra, takes the stand. She reveals that she heard from a mutual friend that Kwamirah was originally named after another Jones brother, not Tyrell. Whoa, talk about a bombshell.
They're trying to make me seem like Paul's my baby daddy. He's not. He's not my child's father at all.
We don't know who your baby daddy is.
Okay.
So ultimately, you're saying this has affected your family?
Yes, and my brother's he has to live with guilt because of it, you know. Now he has to carry this with him. You know, it's just too much. It's affecting our family too much. We need to get this over with ASAP.
Because he has guilt because he knows he slept with her.
Yeah, and it's a possibility, you know, that he could be the father.
Sierra also says that when Tamisha had the baby, she didn't even bother to tell the Jones family. Jada is furious, feeling like Tamisha has been playing games with them the whole time. The tension in the courtroom is palpable.
Two brothers slept with the same woman, and you don't know which one is your child's father. Is there anyone else you were seeing during that time?
No.
And you say Tyrell, he wanted this pregnancy.
Yes, Tyrell went to every appointment, every one.
But she didn't say it was his until he died. We didn't even know about it. Even when she was at the hospital delivering the baby, she never called us, ever, never once. We could have went to the hospital right then and got a test done. She never called.
But then Tamisha's witness, Deanna Chambers, takes the stand and drops another surprise. She says she saw Tamisha holding the baby and acting like Kwamirah was Tyrell's child. Jada is stunned, admitting that she never even held the baby herself to see if she resembled her brother.
You say Tyrell, he wanted this pregnancy.
Yes, Tyrell went to every appointment, every one.
But she didn't say it was his until he died. We didn't even know about it. Even when she was at the hospital delivering the baby, she never called us, ever, never once. We could have went to the hospital right then and got a test done. She never called. How was it his
Why
baby?
didn't you call?
Excuse me, Your Honor. When I had my daughter, I called Tyrell's child mother.
What she gotta do with us?
Tiara, Tyrell's sister, was right there.
The judge tries to calm the situation, reminding everyone that this is about finding the truth and doing what's best for the child. She encourages the Jones family to be there for Kwamirah, no matter who the father turns out to be.
I said, Tiara, she had the baby one go. Oh, what I'm going to the hospital for? Right then and there, y'all could have got a DNA test done on that day.
Why didn't Mish call? Why is she going through you all the time? She's a grown woman.
You're right. Why did she go through me? But
y'all
going through you about every single
Y'all
thing.
hate me.
But you're a grown woman. If you want somebody to help you with
true.
your child, you be a woman about it.
Excuse
The
me.
same way how
Okay,
y'all on
let's
Instagram talking about me and my
calm
child.
down.
And then, the moment of truth arrives. The DNA results are in, and it's time to find out who Kwamirah's biological father really is. Emotions are high, and the tension in the courtroom is at an all-time high. Judge Lake, the floor is yours.
Miss Christina Jones is related to Kwamirah Jones. Mr. Paul Jones is not the father.
I'm sorry.
Which means
I'm sorry.
So Mercedes believed her father was Walter Henderson, but at 15, a man named William Rycraw claimed to be her real dad. Mercedes is desperate to finally get the truth, while William is certain that he is her biological father. Things are about to get messy, and Mercedes is clearly feeling the weight of this lifelong search on her shoulders.
Ms. Henderson, you claim that you believed Mr. Henderson was your biological father, but at the age of 15, Mr. Rycraw claimed he is your dad. You are doubtful and have opened today's case to get the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rycraw, you say you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Ms. Henderson is your daughter.
When the judge asks Mercedes how life has been without knowing her father, the poor woman breaks down. She talks about how lonely it's been, and how her own kids are eager to meet their grandparents. You can see the pain in her eyes as she expresses her desire to finally have that connection, to be close to someone.
When we met, I mean, I just felt it. I just felt that she was my daughter.
And then just to know that my sister's resting in her grave and that my niece needs to know who her family really is. I mean, I just need to know too for sure so she can get a peace of mind so we can all move on. But the point is, either way it go.
William then steps up, claiming that he is absolutely certain Mercedes is his daughter. He talks about the connection he felt when they first met, and how he knows in his heart that she's his. He also mentions that his sister, Mercedes' mother, has now passed away, and he wants Mercedes to know the truth about her family.
Mr. Henderson, this is who you grew up knowing was your father.
Yes, and during the time that I stayed there, I was treated different from my sisters. They used to tell me that I wasn't their uncle's daughter, that I was adopted.
Your Honor, can I go over there for a minute?
So,
would you like to go?
Yes, I would.
So I asked her. I asked him too. I said, Daddy, are you my daddy? He told me that he was like, I'm the only daddy you got.
Mercedes then takes the stand, and it's clear she's still not convinced. She explains that she's always had doubts about her paternity, even as a child, and that her mother gave her different names of potential fathers over the years.
When she came back about a month or two, my other daughter told me that my mom was pregnant.
And so when you find that out, you assume she cheated, or you assume this is my baby? She was pregnant before she left.
Well, Your Honor, actually, when I talked to her, I told her, if it's a girl, it's ours. If it's the boy, you gotta go.
The plot thickens when Mercedes' aunt, William's sister, takes the stand. She reveals that Mercedes' mother and William had been having an affair, and that's why the paternity was kept a secret for so long.
So I don't know what to believe right now.
And so what happened when you met him? You said you went to go see him? What happened?
I did, and I thought I looked like him too. And he remembered my mom, and we got a test, and I called to get the results, but they didn't give me the results. So he called me and he told me that he wasn't my dad, so I never saw the results.
The judge is ready to deliver the DNA test results, and Mercedes is on the brink of tears. It's been a heartbreaking case, and we're about to find out whether or not Mercedes will be smiling or crying all the way home.
Mr. Henderson, you are not the father. The next result, Mr. Rycroft, you are not the father.
You are, Dad.
I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry, Miss Henderson.
Strap in for an emotional roller coaster, guys. We've got a woman named Donna who's shocked when a man named Glenn approaches her at a restaurant and claims he's her long-lost father. Donna's been raised by another man her whole life, so this is a huge bombshell.
Ms. Andrews, you claim that while at a restaurant recently, you were shocked when Mr. Glenn approached you out of the blue and raised his pant leg to reveal a tattoo of your name on his leg. Now you say he then dropped the bomb that he believes he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Glenn says he's kept this secret for 30 years because he wanted Donna to have a good upbringing, but now he's ready to prove he's her real dad. Donna's clearly struggling to process all of this. She's grieving the loss of the father she knew, and now this stranger is claiming to be her biological dad.
So when you say you knew of him, explain.
I knew that he was the father of my youngest sister.
Okay.
Okay. Supposedly we had different fathers, and it was never a question, never until.
And what was your relationship with your father, the man you were told was your father? What was that like?
I had a great relationship with my father.
Donna explains that she had a great relationship with the man she thought was her dad. He was there for all the important moments in her life, like her high school and college graduations. So when this Glenn guy suddenly shows up and drops the "I'm your father" bomb, it's understandably a huge shock.
Mr. Glenn, what a story.
How you doing?
You decided to tell her that you believe you were her biological father at a restaurant?
Me and her mother grew up together.
Okay.
Raised up together. And we started dating in 1976. And then I left for about 8 months. When I left and I came back, Donna was born. She was about 2-3 months ago.
Donna's sister Africa also chimes in, saying she's never heard anything about this Glenn guy being their dad. She's just as confused as Donna is. It seems like this has come completely out of left field for the whole family.
So you calculated up the time and you felt like that I could be the father.
Right.
And that's when you confronted her mother.
Yes.
Mr. Glenn, what happened that night at the restaurant? Why this day? Why at the restaurant? Why did you pick that time to say it?
Because I hadn't seen her in so long.
Glenn tries to explain his side of the story. Apparently, he and Donna's mom had a relationship back in the 70s, and he thought he might be the dad when the mom got pregnant. But the mom never confirmed it with him, and she ended up raising Donna with another man. Glenn says he decided to just step back and let Donna have the good upbringing he couldn't provide.
This hurts. This really hurts me. This hurts.
But you missing, baby. I wasn't there to do that because she don't put the baby on Roger.
Mr. Glenn, what you're saying is you thought it was best to just take a step back because the father that raised her already thought.
But now, all these years later, he's got this feeling that Donna might be his daughter, and he wants to know for sure. He even got a tattoo of Donna's name on his leg as a way to claim her, which is a pretty wild move, if you ask me.
So now by the time I see him at the restaurant and he showed me the tattoo, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I need some answers.
You feel like you keep getting these signs.
I'm getting these signs, and now I'm looking at the family that I grew up with, like, okay, okay, somebody has some answers what's going on. It actually, when you approached me, Mr. Glenn, it put me in depression.
Donna's made it clear that the man she knew as her dad is the only father she's ever had. She's got a great life, a husband, and 3 kids of her own now. So for this Glenn guy to just waltz in and try to insert himself as her dad is really messing with her.
You're not my father anyway.
All right.
And that was, I think I said that to get him to tell me something that maybe the puzzle was missing.
Okay.
Like something is missing. So I thought that would trigger him to give me information, but he never believed, no doubt in his mind, that I'm his daughter. So I kept it just that.
The judge tries to bring some calm to the situation, reminding Donna and Glenn that the DNA results will reveal the truth, no matter what. And when the results finally come in, it's a shocker.
Mr. Glenn, you are her father.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh sis. Oh my God. Oh, you're wrong for that. You're wrong for that.